Funky Politics.
Times.
All right. We're back with Funky Politics. Always powered by what we call the Kudzukian Network. I am D.C. sitting here along with the most, I don't know, this guy. What is a word that describes a barrister who you want to call another word, but he's a great attorney. Doc Ward.
How about just say a great attorney? Just leave it at that.
Well, I wanted to call you another. It was barrister. It was some other kind of B word, but I got you.
If you're gonna load up your insults, get them ready
At least
before the show starts.
I could not think of a good word.
And you start stuttering.
I couldn't think of a good word, man. And I was really gonna lay it bare on you, man. Hey, what's up, man?
Funky Politics for your ears, for your eyes, and we're still healthy, wealthy, and wise.
Yes, sir.
We
are
still real, right, and funky.
No, we're more than funky now.
We made another day.
Praise God for that. And I want to make sure you all out there, we got a huge fan base in the Bay Area. I want to make sure I shout out my folks out in the Bay Area. Check this out.
All right.
I know you guys
Oakland,
are going through. I know in
Berkeley,
Berkeley,
San Francisco,
Hayward,
Richmond,
Martinez, my girls out there in Antioch.
Eastern counties.
Shout out to Ina out there. Let me say this to you guys. I want to make sure you all know that the country has your back. We got you in our prayers.
Sausalito.
Y'all hanging this. Oh, man. Beautiful Sausalito.
San Mateo.
Y'all hang in there. Just hang in there. Hang in there. That's all I know is say hang in there. It's going to get better.
Vallejo.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Walnut Creek.
Everybody in the V.
I love Walnut Creek.
Everybody. My people's in the V.
Yeah. People.
And no matter where you are in this United States.
That's right. New York.
Yeah, no matter where you are,
Chicago.
no matter what you're going
Memphis.
through. No matter where you are. Those places are very seriously affected.
Yeah.
But what I'd like to see, though, is still more leadership from up top. We are not getting what we need. And that's the reason why you're seeing governors stand up, stand out, and express themselves and express what they think is the best or is in the best interest of their citizenry. But unfortunately, whenever you leave a situation like up to governors, you're going to 50 different governors of the United States, and then the other territories makes more. But when you leave something up to 50 governors, you run the risk of having 50 different solutions. Like, for example, you may have Governor Andrew Cuomo, who is doing daily press conferences, addressing the issue almost as if he were the president.
Whoa.
But then you have Governor Tate Reeves in Mississippi that says we're just going to pray.
No. But now what he did, Tate did come back off of vacation. He was in Spain, and how did these guys be out of town all of a sudden? Then you come back, the world is falling apart.
The third most affected place by the coronavirus. So he comes back from Spain.
Yeah. The
third most affected place. We got Italy, then us, United States,
and
I'm
wondering, is Tate Reeves, did he and the family, because he took the entire family with him, I wonder, did they self-quarantine? Because they were there. He came back.
No, they didn't.
He didn't? Well,
I don't think so.
Well,
but he told everybody to pray. He told everybody to pray, and at the risk of just sounding like I have no religion, because I got religion. I got plenty of religion. But I know, as I said before, what did Jesus tell Lazarus when he raised him from the dead?
What?
Arise, do what else? Pick up your bed and do what else? Walk. And this is Funky Politics by the Kudzukian Network. And I'm getting all just totally abounded by it.
Let me say this.
Because you got to pick up your bed and you got to walk. You can't just arise and say, I'm rose from the dead and just move on. You've got to do something more than just rely on the miracle. You've got to be the miracle.
Well, I'll tell you what, speaking of miracles, God, Darryl, you're being nasty. Let me hit myself on the hand.
Okay.
Rand Paul, the junior senator out of Kentucky, he's tested positive for the coronavirus.
I thought you said we weren't going to check him.
Oh.
That's not right to do, man.
No, it's not right to what to say.
We got to be greater than the haters, man.
No, but let me say this to you. This one person has been a denier. He's been a hoaxer. He's been a provocateur of the hoax. And guess what happened? He goes into the Senate on Sunday morning. He goes there to the Senate building. He's taking a swim. He's waiting on his damn test to get back, and he's exposed the other senators.
Swimming where?
They got an elaborate gym.
Oh, so he's hanging out. Oh, so he's taking a dip.
Yeah, he was taking a dip
with the package.
No, you be quiet about that package.
He dip it with the package.
But the point of it is, this guy is waiting on his test.
No, but the point of it is, this guy's a physician.
Yes,
he's
a medical doctor.
Deniers.
And had he had a partial part of his lung taken off because of this incident.
Coronavirus?
No.
Oh, because the guy beat him up in the neighborhood.
Yeah, well, his neighbor got there.
Yeah.
Because he was throwing some stuff over the.
Yeah, I know. He got text.
Yeah, oh man,
Yeah,
he beat
I
the hell out
remember
of it.
I remember that.
Well, now
Now,
hopefully,
he ain't beat the whole hell out of him because he's
No.
still running around here denying it.
well, he ain't
coronavirus.
gonna deny it now because now he's tested positive and he's in a compromised position. He's got part of his lung cut off.
Well,
God,
and that's
man.
unfortunate, but it's just as much a lesson as it is for everyone as it is for him. That what we are encountering right now is a very serious health issue. It's not a war,
No,
as the president wants to try to make it. It is a health issue, and no matter who you are, no matter what your station is in life, no matter how important you may be to yourself or to other people, you have to take care of yourself because all of us are susceptible to this illness.
Well, I tell you what. I tell you who did test.
Yes.
And that was Vice President Pence and his wife. They tested, and they said they were negative. The president tested, and he said he was negative. So I'm assuming he had the rest of the family tested. Now, Steve Miller, is that what his name is?
Yes.
Yeah. We don't know if he tested or not, but somebody's probably said he needs to get a test.
Yeah, we need to get a lot of tests.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's a tough guy. But anyway, hey,
a
look,
lot of
hey,
tests.
more about this funky world, this funky country, the funky states you're living in, because we're right here with you always. We're not going to be.
But wait a minute, hold on, because
what?
we got a man on the ground we're about to talk to, man.
We're going to talk to man on the
We
ground.
got a man on the
Brother
ground
Derrick
right there
Page.
in D.C.
He's in D.C. He knows what's going
Counsel
on.
extraordinaire.
Trained
And a
lawyer.
man
Let me
with
tell you
his
something.
ear to the street and his eyes on the beat. And he's going to give us more about what's going on in the district to help us through this crisis that we are incurring. And we're going to talk to him in a few. And we'll be back with you right here on Funky Politics. We're coming on back.
Yo.
Entrepreneurs should check out Grindset because these are the stories of entrepreneurs told in the most raw, unassuming, and honest ways. And every episode, you will hear things that you didn't know that will no longer scare you, and you will feel encouraged to take your entrepreneurial journey because these are entrepreneurial heroes and they'll show you the way.
You're listening to Funky Politics.
Funky politics.
Funky Politics.
Funky Politics.
Powered by the Kudzukian Network.
Lord, it's a real motherfucker, yeah. Make you wanna run for cover, yes it will. And if you look, you will discover, yeah. Lord, it's a real motherfucker. Ow!
We're back with Funky Politics. And it's always going to be powered by the Kudzukian Network. Always. I'm just going to tell you, I'm not going to say Kudzukian no more, but it's going to always be powered by the Kudzukian Network. I said it again. I am DC, sitting here along with my trusty co-host, Doc Ward.
Yeah.
Doc, man, we have got a correspondent,
We got a DID.
a DID.
A DID.
Oh, Lord. What's that?
Dude in the district.
Oh, Lord. Dude, the district.
Dude in the district.
Hey, listen to what we
can't-
got.
We got to have somebody on the ground.
Talking to folk, knowing what's going on, violating the stay-at-home order.
right,
And you
right.
got Brother Derrick Page, a young brother who's an attorney in D.C., grew up in Louisville, Kentucky, is a scholar, a FAMU guy, Florida State guy, got his law degree from the University of Kentucky.
Finance guy.
Man, finance guy. Man, you did a comedian, dad of a 4-year-old boy.
Jack of all trades.
How was that 4-year-old? What's the 4-year-old's name, man?
His name's Derek, too. We call him
Derek
Dylan.
Dillon.
Derek
Double D.
Dillon.
Double
Call him
D.
Dylan.
I thought you were going to say, how old is your 4-year-old?
Yeah, double
Wow.
D.
That's what it
you
sounded
go.
like you said at first,
No,
man.
I changed my mind. I
Okay,
changed my mind.
okay, we got to get you right, man. We got to get you right.
D, man, tell me what is going on in the DMV? What's happening, man?
Man, they got it on. They got it on lockdown.
So can you make it to work?
You know, so people ain't trying to move. You know what? Superior Court has been shut down for the I don't know, greater part of a week and a half, maybe. One of the U.S. Marshals got the virus, and so that quickened things up as far as the shutdown was concerned. They had to clean out. They bleached out the cell block. They got some people that were transported by this marshal are on quarantine now. They got 65 guys at the D.C. jail on quarantine because they got they were exposed to the marshal. Marshall was down at the juvenile cell block, so with some juveniles that were exposed.
Wow, and I
So
noticed
things
that the
got crazy,
president
man.
right now is talking about potentially releasing non-violent,
Federal offenders.
older federal. I don't think any of those guidelines have been put in place yet. federal offenders from if you're in D.C., you're a federal offender
Well,
just
that's
about
true. That's
federal
true.
territory.
Yeah.
But thinking about releasing all of those, is that something that's going through the system up there for evaluation right now?
Yeah, it is. And so, apart from the federal, and let me make this distinction, apart from the federal inmates or people who were adjudicated in D.C. and would be going to federal prison, there are also, just like a local jail in any city, there are people who are convicted of misdemeanors or who have less than a year to serve, who may be serving out their time here locally in D.C. And so the policy already in place for, and this is just something that's happening with D.C. Superior Court, is that the chief judge has issued the requirements for attorneys to make motions to get their clients released based on the coronavirus issue. And so even amongst those persons, the priority is for people who are 60 and above and those that have pre-existing medical conditions. That puts them at
Hey, D, so
particular
check
risk.
this out. When I'm in D.C., and it's oftentimes, my aunt lives in D.C., matter of fact, I was 16th, I think I told you, Massachusetts, something like that. So when I'm there, it's typically for CBC, man, and it's a chocolate city to me then. But I understand Doc has had to correct me. He says it's not chocolate anymore. It's kind of latte right now. This city is built on restaurants, built on bars. It's built on all that connectivity in terms of us being social, not social distancing. So are you telling me that these major thoroughfares, Massachusetts, all of these major thoroughfares with these beautiful restaurants are now shut down? Is that what's going on, man?
Yeah, man, it's all slow motion. You can do carry out in a lot of places still, I think. So you can go in and get a to-go order for some places, but and the Grubhub and the delivery services, I guess, are still in play.
Yeah,
but,
hey, look, man. Hey, look. Ben's Chili Bowl. What about Ben's, man? What's up?
But look, man, get the hot dog and go, bro.
You might do better getting it out on the street if you want to talk about getting a hot dog.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't even know. I haven't been down there in over 2 weeks. I don't know what's popping, but I think a lot of places still have to-go business, but nothing.
So who's actually calling the shots then on the ground? Is it the Senate? Is it Mayor Bowser? Is it the president? Who's actually calling the shots for D.C.? Because it seems like everywhere else, the state governments and the local governments are calling the shots. So who's everybody listening to when it comes down to it?
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening here. Bowser was on it pretty quick. And, the DMV area, you got Virginia, Maryland, D.C. We haven't heard as much from Virginia, because I don't know what they're doing in Virginia, but Maryland, Larry Hogan's the governor. He's been very proactive in shutting things down. So between Bowser and Hogan, at least on the Maryland and within the district, things shut down early. People were out of school almost a week and a half ago. Schools started shut down. For a long time, Hogan wanted to keep the daycares open because he wanted first responders, police, fire, EMT, doctors and nurses. He wanted them to have a place to send their kids. But so the daycares are just now starting to shut down more.
Yeah.
But,
so are there any standards because I know daycares, they may shut down, but in a city like Washington, D.C., where you got millions and millions of people, and a lot of people that may be essential to the effort because they're working for the federal government. What is there any kind of baseline that's been put in place by anyone as far as how children are going to be taken care of? Because now with school years being suspended or schools going online in lieu of kids attending, there's still going to be a need for child care. So is there any guidance, that's coming out of either the district or Maryland or even with Governor Northam in Virginia as to how that's going to be handled?
I haven't heard. I think that a lot of people, they have been maybe doing a purposeful kind of slow rollout. The public schools were shut down last week or maybe a week and a half now, and daycares are just now starting to shut down. And even with daycares, I'll say for instance in Maryland, our daycare was not shut down by the governor yet. Our daycare is being shut down by the daycare.
Okay,
so individual daycares are making their own decisions. And they're making a rollout, like hours will be closed Wednesday. And so people had notification on Friday. I guess they had between Friday and this Wednesday to kind of make plans, start leaning on family more and maybe going to individual babysitters and that. But I don't know, man. It's going to be hard pressed. What's going to happen eventually is when these first responders start
and they will get sick.
Then it's going to be a whole another thing.
So now, look,
they will, man. It's been doctors and nurses already. Doctors, nurses, firefighters.
Well, now you listen to
EMTs,
Funky
tested.
Politics, and one thing about it, though, D. Let me ask you, and I'm gonna be a little selfish. There's a lot of sisters up there that I know that are great women of God, and they attend church a lot. And what the sisters doing? Are they at the house? Are they not getting out? They're not going to nail shop. You're not seeing them at the beauty shop, so you're not seeing them at church. So they're just on lockdown, man.
I guess they're on lockdown. You know, there's a beauty shop right across from our house, man, and there was a big run on getting the nails and the hair, and you know. I guess people want to have good pedicures while they're curing.
Yeah, well, you got to have them lashes ready, man, because you got to be on Instagram, you got to be on the gram and on Snapchat.
I think that it's more of a psychological situation. If you're going to be in the house or in a contained space, you don't want to be there and then just not be well kept. It's not good for your psyche.
Ugly feet are not a good. Ugly feet and quarantine is not a good.
Ugly feet, ugly hands, and an afro just don't make good when you're already caged in.
What are you trying to say, man? I mean, I hadn't gotten my hair cut yet, and my feet, my toes are not.
Your hygiene was never good.
So D. I mean, come on, man, come on. I need something from you.
We've been wearing masks to Kudzukian since you started working here. So I mean, we're used to it.
D, let me tell you something, man. This guy over here, man. I have been around this guy for nearly 5 years, and I think I'm on the last rung right now.
Yeah. Then I can finally take my mask off, and people can hear me more clearly.
Whatever, man.
But seriously though, I mean, but there's no, and I guess that's the question. There's no real policy that's been established, either on the federal, state, or local levels that addresses the regular mom and pop businesses, which are small businesses.
That's right.
How they're going to operate, particularly those that usually respond and have to correspond and meet health department standards for sanitation and otherwise.
Yeah,
so we've got to get something in place there. But I want to pull on something else because I know you got a financial background, and I know you're watching this stock market and all things attributed to it plummet. As you look forward right now, what do you think that the biggest thing that we're going to need to do really to get our financial house in order right now as we proceed, because it looks like it's only going to get worse before it gets better?
Oh, yeah. I think it's going to get worse. And not only the stock market situation, I think that, it's going to expose the fact that a lot of people who are living middle-class lives don't really have or didn't have a lot of safety net to begin with. So in that respect, we will probably be hurt less. Unfortunately, we'll be hurt less, I think, because of the market situation, because quite honestly, we're the group of people who have less vested and invested in the market to begin with. So in a strange way, we will likely not be hurt as much by the market just based on our own personal investments as we will be hurt by what I suspect will be a significant amount of unemployment and business, mom and pop businesses just shutting down because they don't got the foot traffic anymore to sustain, the businesses we own. So I suspect that'll hurt us a lot more. And always, as in everything, we get we're hardest hit with the trickle down. So what, the little bit we had in 401k is going to be decimated. The employment situation is going to be what is most taxing. So it'll be interesting to see. And our communities, in good and bad times, are more closely tied to some of the off the book.
Oh, not the off the book business, man. What's going on? Lord Jesus. What's going to happen with the weed, man? Jesus, not the weed, man.
He said off the book business.
Oh, no, not the weed. Oh, no, weed is legal there right now, right?
Yeah. He said off the book businesses, man.
Well, car washing, mechanics.
There you go.
Right. I'm talking about
detailing shop.
Detailing.
Rims. But let me ask you this though, because
TVs.
Historically, it seems that as it relates to African American businesses, which most of our businesses, the overwhelming majority of our businesses, almost 100% of our businesses classify as small business, which seems to be the number one target that everyone wants to save. But when we start trying to play on a larger market with our small businesses, that seems to affect us more than when we become self-contained and really take a concentrated effort in trying to support each other. So you being in Washington, D.C., where you have a large number of African-American owned businesses, and particularly infrastructure-based like banks and maybe perhaps financial services companies, law firms, etc. Is there anyone that is galvanizing the effort to bring those businesses together and try to make sure that they're participating with the government or at least with others to work through this crisis in order to stay afloat?
Now, that's a good question. I don't see it. I don't see people even, and I shouldn't say not thinking that far ahead, but I think people are just now into so much into personal, survival mode and trying to, figure out what they're going to do with the kids at home, who's going to watch the kids if they have to go out to work.
Real collaboration, and basically, right?
No, I haven't seen it. And I think also people are kind of got their ear to the ground about what the feds are going to do with, how they're going to reimburse, how they're going to help people outside of these little checks they're talking about. And as you know, I mean, $1,000 in Memphis don't hit the same as it does.
Man, what you talking about? I had a friend girl of mine up there, and I spent. Well, let me leave that alone.
Yeah,
but anyway,
you need to leave it alone. Yeah, but the thing about it is,
all I had left
right now, with the president and the Treasury Secretary being the determinant arbiters of who gets the $1,000, if you have a certain income, you may not even get that $1,000.
That's right.
And I understand that there's really no relativity really given, because they say, well, if you make $100,000 a year, then you might not get the stimulus. But if you make $100,000 a year and you and your wife are self-employed, and now you're making no money,
that's a
and your bills are commensurate with the $100,000 you make, who's to say that you're not supposed to get some type of stimulus? It just does not.
Well, I think they're saying that you can leverage those small business loans, and which I think the second package, the third package should have some small business relief in there that will allow those guys like you and Doc, Derrick, who run your own firms, to be able to hopefully leverage some of that, right? And of course, now they want to make sure that you're not that you're hiring people and that you're maintaining staff and all of that. But it's gonna be difficult. I want to see how do they do this, because the federal government has never been one that's been easy to get paperwork done at all. I mean, this is one of those damn things that just rolls around, No. And so that's how it happens, man. Whatever.
Right. I mean, so many places that have to be tied up. I can't imagine them getting it done quick, and I can't imagine the money coming out in any type of efficient way, the way they've been talking, like they want to get it out soon.
Well, D, you got your ear to the street on the politics. You got your ear to the street on the finances. They may go hand in hand. And you got the ear to the street on this illness, this social health crisis we're going through called coronavirus. So we hope that you stay safe, because you got to be our man in D.C.
And I need you to make sure you check on my sisters up there, Doc. Check on my sisters up there.
You
all right,
too,
bro.
brother.
Make sure they're all right.
Yeah, you got to check on.
Tell them I'm on the way. Tell them I'm on the way, though. I'm on the way.
All two of
Big
them.
Dad on the way, coming back, Doc.
All two of them.
Whatever.
And only one of them probably calls him Big Dad.
D, hey, man, we got to get you back on this show, man. You hear me? Hey, man, I appreciate you calling in, talking to us, man, getting us right on what's really happening in the DMV. And you know what? Appreciate you, Doc, man.
Yes, sir.
Hey, keep your hands washed, man. Keep your hands
tell everybody to wash your damn hands.
Wash your damn hands. That's what we say on this show. Wash your damn hands, D. All right?
Give us one wash your damn hands as we go out.
Wash your damn hands.
Right here on Funky Politics.
It's a real motherfucker. Oh, get out of here!
The whole funk. I feel good and make love good.
Oh.
Nothing but the funk.
Riffin' on Jazz.
I'm Howard Robertson, one of your hosts for Riffin' on Jazz. Riffin' is your weekly visit with friends where we dive all in to that classic African-American art form called jazz. So don't miss Riffin' with me and my man Melvin Massey every week on your favorite broadcast and podcast platforms.
Riffin' on Jazz on the Kudzukian Network. Kudzukian!
We're back with Funky Politics. Powered. Always sitting here at the Kudzukian Tower in the middle of, a sprawling oasis.
What did he do to us, man?
Who?
We back to Lil Jon now, see.
I know, man.
Our producer has switched the funk up. He switched the funk up.
I like who
we
you
used
with.
to be Yo Gotti, now we on Lil Jon.
Man, this one,
but whether it's Yo Gotti or Lil Jon, once again it's on.
Or Kenny Loggins.
Kenny Loggins?
I think Kenny Loggins did a Who You With.
What,
too.
Footloose?
Yeah, Footloose. You don't like that song?
No.
Oh, okay.
Or you said Kenny Rogers?
No, Kenny Loggins. No, Kenny Rogers, he gone on
May
the
he
floor.
rest in peace.
Yes, sir. I like
the gambler. Know when to hold him. Know when to fold him, Bernie Sanders.
Know when to
walk away.
And know when to run.
Count your money while you're sitting at the table. There'll be time enough for counting after the convention.
Bernie Sanders
after the convention
does not want to admit.
Hey, that was a rhyme. Missed my rhyme. After the convention. Go ahead.
Bernie Sanders does not want to admit that it's a done deal.
He don't want.
I said last week it was a done deal. I said last month. Well, no, I didn't really say last month it was a done deal. I'm gonna tell you why. Because number one, the guy was trending pretty well, right? But when you have 12 other people out there, and you got all of these Gen Zers and millennials out there who are just clamoring to have Medicare for all and saying, I want all my student debt wiped away, and we have no real damn plan of how we're going to pay for it. Now, guess what? With all this debt we're getting ready to assume now, understand, we're getting ready to assume at least $2 trillion worth of debt, right? Debt service. So guess what? We will not have Medicare for all. You will not have all of your student loans forgiven right now. I'm telling you, folks, get ready. Taxes may not go up, but you ain't about to get no tax cut again anytime soon.
We about to be as much debt as your drunk Uncle Alfred with a gambling habit and a drug habit.
And going to that casino all the time.
I mean, we
want you to drop him off.
You talk about underwater. We about to be sub-zero, 20,000 leagues under the sea.
But what does debt really say to us as average Americans? My folks out in California, New York, Mississippi, Chicago, and that area, Illinois. All of you guys who are listening to us in Georgia, who are listening to us right now.
I'm gonna tell you what it says.
Debt really says.
I'm saying what it says. It says we ain't with Bernie Sanders, so we can go and start talking about something else. So it leaves us with Joe Biden I say it from another perspective, not necessarily dealing with the debt. What we're dealing with right now with the health crisis that we're under basically makes this more of a restorative time than ever. Because the next president, even if it's Donald Trump this next term, we've got to start talking about.
It can't be him.
Even if it were, though, we have to start talking about restoration. We are so far off our rocker right now. We've got to have somebody that's going to restore this country to a position where we can start dealing and answering the questions even about the aftermath of the coronavirus. Because guess what? When you get through talking about coronavirus, you still got children in cages. You still got Puerto Rico that hadn't gotten its full disaster relief. You still got other disasters that have occurred. No one has said anything about the massive tornado that occurred in Nashville and what help they might, assistance they might need. You still got other concerns about trade. You still got other issues about the wall on the southern border.
You got Iran that's still sitting out there.
Iran, the agreement that's still there that you got to address. So even notwithstanding that, you've got so many things you have to restore. You've got to have a candidate that at least has some experience for the record in world politics. Global politics and international politics. Not just somebody who has an idea. Somebody that actually knows the leaders, has their respect. And who is that going to be?
But Doc, what you just laid a plan, you've just laid out your 4-point plan for replacing the president now. But you said even if it's him. But can I say this?
Yeah.
You've got to have somebody who, from a psychological standpoint, can reassure our young people and our seniors that it's going to be okay. And this president today cannot, and I'm not even talking about the folks like between 40 and 60 like you and I. I'm talking about those folks who are sitting in their homes and they're fearful as hell right now. Right. And these children say, Mama, what's going on? Why can't I go to school? Why can't I see my friends? Why? You got little babies. You know, your boys, I'm sure, what's really going on?
But the kids that were behind the cage were asking those questions before coronavirus.
But sure they were. But we have an issue right now that's affecting, and that issue, I'm not minimizing that issue, but we got an issue right now.
It all runs together, though.
We can chew bubble gum and walk at the same time. There's no doubt.
I haven't seen it yet, but can you blow a bubble?
Yeah, no, this president can't.
I mean, that's the thing.
So all I'm saying is that we've got to have a person who can restore faith back into a system that they believe has let them down. Do you not agree with that? And if you don't agree, I'm not going to ask you
I agree with it.
To sign
this
on
is Funky Politics, powered by the Kudzukian Network. But let me ask you this.
Let me know.
So,
yes,
Joe Biden said,
yes,
and we talked about it last week or so. Joe Biden said his next vice presidential candidate would be an African-American female. Did he say that directly?
Did he say a female candidate, or did he say?
Well, first he said the cabinet would be representative of America.
Which I think that ought to be so, period, anyway.
That's easy to do. And so then
Obama's cabinet wasn't.
And then but it's easy to do, though. It's easy to do.
But do you not agree? President Obama's cabinet was not it was not representative of our country.
Not completely, but I think that you had more diversity in that cabinet than you had in any other previous
Susan
cabinets.
Rice.
Right.
You had my guy who was a U.S. attorney.
You had Valerie Jarrett as an advisor.
All right,
Eric Holders, who you talking about?
Yeah, Eric Holders. So you tell me.
You had no.
Go ahead. You had Castro, who was who was over HUD.
Your Homeland Security advisor.
Jay was, yeah. Jay. His name is actually Jay. Yeah, and I met him. His name is Jay. So
And then-
you should call him Jay.
Yeah, and then like you said, Susan Rice there.
So you had three
Jared
level.
there.
You had three high level cabinet members. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, that does not equate to what this country
Well, no,
looks
I
like.
think we just named like 4 or 5 people. But
No,
I'm not
Valerie
going
Jarrett,
but here's the thing.
this is
the Obama
you're right, this ain't
president.
about
The
Obama. You're
Obama
right, you're right,
presidency
you're
is
right.
over. I'm
You're
not
right,
going to
you're
sit
right,
back
you're
and try
right, you're absolutely right.
to critique that.
You're
What I'm
right.
talking about is what Joe Biden said, because that's really more important. Because what Joe Biden is doing anyway is more important to what is more, a wider scale of what Barack Obama did, because he said he's going to have an African American female for vice president. Now, that's what I'm understanding. So he's boxed himself in to some degree.
I know you like
because
your Howard sisters.
if he changes that, then all of a sudden, that's going to be an issue in terms of what type of confidence people have in him.
I don't think he'll change.
So I think he's got to have somebody there in that post that's consistent with the message that he put out.
I tell you what he'll do. He'll probably do. This is my favorite, my odds-on favorite. I like Stacey out of
Abrams?
Georgia. Georgia.
Yeah,
I like her. I like Keisha out of Georgia. What do you do though? I mean, I don't know the answer to it, because I think whatever happens,
Keisha Lance Bottoms has come up as the mayor of Atlanta.
See,
has
what
come
you'll
up
do
as
is
a
you will
potential
find-
candidate.
'cause
And
I don't
she
know-
did support him from the beginning.
I don't know if Joe will run again. I don't know if Joe has the chops to run for re-election. When he win, let me finish it. When he wins,
I'm not saying anything.
And so now you got a vice president who's sitting out there,
Okay.
who's only basically served one term, and you're going to find people like a Mario Cuomo out there. You may even find
Mario Cuomo. You only find him at the cemetery.
I'm sorry, not Mario. You'll find his son Andrew.
Okay.
You'll find Andrew Cuomo
Okay,
out there,
well,
who probably
Andrew
talks
Cuomo,
about
perhaps.
he may want to run for president, and I wouldn't say no. I mean, he probably would have a great shot.
You're
at
talking
winning.
about 2024,
I am talking about 2024.
but we're talking about
I'm
right
talking
now,
about- well,
2020.
I think it's going to be a.
Do you have the 2020 vision, or are you
Yes,
blurry?
I do. I've got two
Okay.
people. I got two people.
Tell me who.
I'm looking at both out of Georgia. I'm looking at Keisha Lance Bottoms out of Georgia, and I'm
okay.
looking also at Stacey Abrams.
No more Kamala Harris.
No, I am so past Kamala Harris. So past
Can't
her.
ever be past Kamala.
No,
Harris.
she is she's your fellow Howard alum. I understand that, but I do not get, and the country did not get Kamala Harris. They didn't get her. That's why she never came outside.
Well, the country didn't get Joe Biden when he ran for president all those times,
Okay.
but yet he became the vice president. So you can't really use that as a gauge, because
But he
we've already
became
seen
the vice
situations.
president.
The country
he
didn't
get elected as the president.
The country
though.
didn't get Al Gore either, but they got him when he became Bill Clinton's vice president, and then when he ran for president, they didn't elect
Al Gore
him.
was
So-
elected president.
So
He just
well,
didn't-
yeah, they did.
Those
yeah,
hanging
yeah.
chads. got
Yeah,
his
they
ass
did. He got
out.
chatted on out. But one person that I did say last week, we were asking me who I thought about, and I thought about Ayanna Pressley. I still think very highly of
Really?
her, but I also said Andrew Gilliam.
Oh Lord,
Man.
that's another show. That's 3BC.
Yeah.
Get out of here, right? Hey, look,
Oh,
y'all.
wow.
We'll be right back.
You did not say that about the former mayor of Tallahassee. I'm going to say this, Andrew.
You with him?
You got some
Are you with it?
situations, man. I hope that you work through them and you build the confidence to be who you want to be, the way you want to be it, and come on back to politics, because you had a good voice for the community. We hate to see it compromised because you had to figure things out. But
What,
as
in the hotel room and figure stuff out?
you got to figure things out sometimes.
Over myth. Anyway, we'll be right back. Hey, we'll be right back with more funky politics. Stick around, folks.
It ain't coronavirus.
I ain't scared of you, mother.
R&R on Sports.
Pitcher, left-hander, Vita Blue. Welcome to R&R on Sports.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be on. Let's get it on, man. Let's talk to
That's
baseball.
right.
Talk to sports.
It's R&R on Sports.
Funky Politics, powered by the Kudzukian Network, bringing it to you real, right, and funky, because that's the way you need it if you're going to function in today's world. I guarantee you, and we make sure that you stay fully equipped to move forward with your daily obligations.
With your gloves,
Right.
with your hand soap, with your hand sanitizer. I cannot repeat it enough.
Right.
Everybody, all over the world.
Now, one thing I want to say, other than wash your damn hands, is this.
That's it. Wash your damn.
This is a health crisis, a global health crisis.
Pandemic.
And if you are, I guess, my age or younger, you probably have not had this type of experience full on.
Yeah, that's right.
In your lifetime.
That's right.
But I want you to understand that this is a global health crisis. This is not a war.
No.
And I understand as of late that there are some who have messaged this on to being a war. A war involves armed conflict, That is the definition of a war. There is no functional or figurative definition that says, well, it's a sickness. It's just like no. This is a global health crisis, not a war. We're not fighting a war against an enemy. We're fighting a crisis against an illness. And because it's the difference between the two is that there's no particular individual that is the causative factor, or no particular culture that's the causative factor of this. We're all in this together.
That ain't what the president says.
Well, the president says two things. He says we're all in this together on one hand. Then he says Chinese virus on the other, as if to imply the Chinese have done something wrong to bring this illness upon us. That's why I want to make it very clear that this is no less of a health issue than the common cold. The common cold wasn't brought up on us by any nationality. Neither is the coronavirus, regardless of where it occurs. So change your way of thinking and get that out of your head, because there's no way that you can go forward conflicted by where this came from and then say that somehow we're in this together. We can't be in this together until we are pushing aside all of the artificial and imposter barriers that we've used to divide us before. The barriers of age, the barriers of gender, the barriers of cultural distinction, the barriers of sexual orientation, the barriers of any other kind.
I got one barrier I want to be moved.
Sure.
Send me my damn check. I want my check, bro. I want my check.
I want my test. I want my medicine. Because here's the thing. Like the governor of Illinois said the other day when he was shutting down the places and everything. Basically, he said, if you don't have a life, you don't have an economy. And so what we need to start focusing on is the most important thing that each and every one of us has, not necessarily our money, because money is just what we make of it. You can buy a house with salt if somebody's accepting salt as the payment.
Well, that's true.
But lives are lives.
That's correct.
And all lives matter. So until next time, and in between time, we encourage you and demand actually that you wash your damn hands.
Yes, sir.
And that you keep it real.
Keep it right.
And always keep it, what, DC?
Funky.
And we're going to see you next time. Stay well. Take care of yourselves. Take care of yourselves.
Funky Politics. Recorded at Kudzukian Studios. Directed, produced, and distributed by Kudzukian.